right, Muffins. I have a interesting request, and I'm curious to see what you guys would think about doing videos like this. I don't think I can do a lot of them, but this was a request where a player, DPM Gamer, wanted to send me a replay and then have me kind of do a review, my thoughts, walk through it, kind of almost like a review on how I did, like how the player did. So you'll have to let me know what you guys think of something like this. I'm happy to do this occasionally, maybe not all the time, but starting right off here in the back, right off the bat. Now, this tank is a light tank, and at the right at the beginning, you want to be putting yourself in a position to spot. Where he wasn't moving so much at the beginning, it kind of raised some red flags as to, okay, is he going to move this game? Is he AFK? So I would have definitely moved more to a position to help my team spot right at the beginning. Now, he went really far back, way back at the end of the map, in an area that typically would be really good for like a flexible or maneuverable glass cannon. Not so much of an area that you would with this type of tank. He is getting some penetrating shots. I mean, luckily these tanks don't have an excellent amount of armor, but you can see from the shell velocity, and if it were to be other tanks, I mean, he bounced one off a medium, which you can do, but looking at the strengths of this tank, it's not meant to be trying to shoot really far distances across the map. It's much more meant to be at a little bit closer range, using your maneuverability. Now, the thing that makes this tank a bit unique is it doesn't have a fully rotating turret. Now, here he is using the landscape to protect himself, which is really key. It's good because with a tank like this, you don't have really any armor. So you can really get messed up. So he's using the hills, he's using his third-person view to look around, which is really good because as a tank like this, you want to be very aware. You don't want to be tunnel visioning. You want to make sure that there's no enemies that have shots on you. You want to pay attention where your team is. You can see here he got spotted, and if this enemy were to close the gap and a heavy tank tried coming over this hill, he could try flanking him, use any sort of bad gun depression an enemy has against himself while you have that time to get around. And here he's using and working with his team, which in effect is a good thing to do. So he's trying to communicate, he's looking at the enemy lineup, and at this point, just based on how the gameplay's gone so far, I would have normally thought that this wouldn't have really been in DPM Gamer's favor, but these enemies you'll actually see, and this game actually turns out to be quite surprising. As a matter of fact, there was just so much that was blowing my mind away during just watching this video. It was almost just hard to take in. So he's paying attention for distracted targets, which is really good, and taking them out. I mean, that is one of the good things about playing a light tank, by going with the thing of not using your armor, working with the team, paying attention, not tunnel visioning, using the landscape, and once again here communicating with the team. So there's two enemies against these two, and they have more health, and at this point you really have to be conscientious, just be very careful, as there's a good chance they can really just overrun you. And if these enemies, if I were them, I would have just charged. I would have just used, I mean, these guys don't even have a lot of hit points, but they end up being like not very aware, or I'm not really sure exactly what they're doing. This guy in this logo is very hesitant to advance or even do much, and he's taking a while to aim. He comes around the corner looking like he doesn't really have a clue at what's going on or even where the enemy would be. Now, this is where DPM Gamer is using um, his strengths to his advantage, because he's not just staying in one place. He's trying to move back and forth, use that maneuverability, and by doing that kind of up close and front like that, I mean, especially to that logo, is it can throw off your aim. And he's a small tank. Now, at this point, he's really putting himself kind of in front of the tank, which is utilizing the tank's armor, which doesn't have any. But he is doing some good tactics here that are helping him against the enemy, because the thing is, even with this Matilda that doesn't even have a lot of armor, he is still moving around and trying to get to those weak spots to penetrate him. As far as what these these enemies were doing, I really have no idea. But good, like, honestly, good job, DPM Gamer. To be honest with you, I think the way to sum this game up was very surprising. That it was entertaining, to say the least, there at the end. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about vids like this. This is the Muffin here. Stay cool and keep tanking.